Well, today is a nice exception, but the chillier temperatures this time of year just call out for comfort food. And that's what we've got today. Nothing better than a big pot of chili cooking on the stove or maybe in the crock pot.
Jane Rogers is here to show us how to make her version with sweet potatoes and black-eyed peas. So you guys were talking a minute ago. I see you've got some tomatoes over there. But we're not having stewed tomatoes and black-eyed peas like New Year's. This is much, much better.
Oh, I think it's much better.
Okay, good.
It includes those two recipes, so it
it
fits with what you need to eat on New Year's Day.
It fits exactly. Fits that. You know, if we get some colder weather, it's also vegetarian, but we're going to make it taste a little bit meaty. And we're going to start out with, we've got some mushrooms browning in the pan right here, and that's going to replace some of the meat. And it's going to give it kind of a dark, deep flavor. Kind
Is
of
that umami that we always hear about these days.
Right.
You
And
said
so,
some mushroom. That's a lot of mushrooms.
It was a lot more because you know how much they put down. This was a good half a pound maybe of chopped fine mushrooms, and take some help from the store. Get the ones that are already sliced, and you'd have to do a little bit of chopping because there's a lot of chopping in this recipe. There really is, but it's delicious and it's really not that hard. It's just a little bit, you know, it takes a little bit of prep work.
Getting everything into bite-sized pieces.
Right. So these have been cooking for maybe 10 minutes, just kind of cooking away, not too high. I did just crank the heat up to about medium high because we're going to sear off some other stuff in here. And we're going to start with one large sweet onion. And that's been chopped into, you know, just
Now, did you put
dice.
anything in there with the mushrooms, any kind of oil or anything?
There is a little bit. There's 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there,
Okay.
but no salt or anything, because if you put salt in there, they're not going to brown. They're going to release all their liquid. They're going to kind of cook and get a little rubbery.
Okay.
So we just a little bit of oil. There's plenty of seasonings to come. Don't worry about
That's
that.
why my mushrooms always taste
like rubber.
Put some butter and some olive oil in there and let them cook first.
Okay.
And don't crowd the pan. Julia Child always said, don't crowd the pan.
Don't
Everything
crowd the
needs its
pan.
room.
Right? So we've got one big onion that's been diced. We've got one good-sized carrot that's been peeled and diced. We've got a red pepper. Use a red pepper, use a yellow pepper, orange pepper, whatever. Just make it pretty. I'm not a big fan of the flavor of the green peppers in this. So, I mean, if you really like them, it's your chili, you get to do it. A couple of cloves of garlic.
Oh, yeah, baby. Put it in there.
And we're just going to let this kind of come together while I finish chopping the sweet potato.
Now, is this one of those dishes that you really need patience for?
You know what? A little bit, but not too much. Honestly, you could be eating this in 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 35 with the chopping and whatnot. The other thing we're going to do, we're going to cut the sweet potato up. And if you'll notice, I left the skin on. The skin is delicious. The skin is great for you. I scrubbed this quite a bit under some running water with a kitchen brush. And I trimmed out some of the bad spots. But in general, it's good, it's delicious. It gives the sweet potatoes a little bit more structure when they're cooking, so you can cook it a little longer.
So
And we've got all the vitamins and the fiber.
Right? And it's delicious for you. Like, it just kind of gives you a little bit more to kind of bite into. Because we don't have meat in here. So these have been cooking. If you're doing this at home, maybe give this 5 minutes. Quick little stir every now and again. Pop in the sweet potatoes.
The sweet potatoes and the carrots are going to take a little bit longer than a lot of things would. So obviously they go in ahead of everybody else.
And they'll stew for a little bit. And, but you don't want them to be mushy, so that's the other thing. Like, get the onions in there cooking down, because the onions can almost, you know, kind of just disperse over the whole thing.
But the aroma is absolutely amazing.
Right? It's so good, and we haven't really we haven't even added spices yet. We're going to do that now. We've got a tablespoon of chili powder. We've got some crushed red pepper or cayenne, whichever you like.
Little kick.
Little cumin, and we've got a tablespoon of salt. Because the other thing is, remember, we're using all fresh stuff, so we don't have a lot of salt in here.
Was that sea salt?
That was sea salt, and that was fresh ground pepper.
Okay.
The only thing we're using that's not fresh is these tomatoes, and these are chili-ready tomatoes. I found them in every store I went into, because I try to, you know, I don't want to use something on here you can't find. And I also left them in the can so you can see what they look like.
And you didn't drain off any juice.
No, you want the juice.
And I like those because they have all the chili flavorings in them.
And the tomatoes have been cooked, so it's once again, you're adding flavor.
It's infusing, yeah,
and
it's
you know,
infused.
and it's not, you know, it's already in there. So that's kind of good. So we're going to give this a good stir.
Now you said this was the tomatoes was the only thing that came. Did you do your own beans?
Well, that's something we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
I actually love, one of my favorite things in the frozen food section is the black-eyed peas. A couple of reasons. The peas are kind of processed, but they're not processed and cooked like they're canned. And in a half a cup of these beans, there's 20 milligrams of sodium. In a half a cup of canned beans, there's anywhere from 125 to like 380.
Wow.
So that's why you can put all those seasonings in. You can use these now, Like the carrots and the sweet potatoes, these take a little longer to cook.
And it's just frozen.
They're frozen black-eyed peas.
With low sodium or almost no sodium.
20 milligrams of whatever. Yeah, it's amazing.
Could you use the dried and soak them overnight if you wanted to?
Absolutely. If you soak them overnight, you'd have to cook them before you put them in here because this is only going to stay on the stove for about 20 minutes.
Okay,
so if you want to,
gotta cook them.
So you got to cook them a little bit, but that's no big deal. Just put them on a pot of water. Yeah, I love
While you're doing this, you could be cooking the beans.
Absolutely. Before you start chopping, put the beans on to
Sean, if you want to do extra cooking, you knock yourself out. We're going with the frozen ones.
But these are awesome. I use them all the time. And
I'll have
they're
to look
delicious.
for those. I never thought about
they're
frozen
delicious.
black-eyed peas.
Like the salt content alone is enough to, and they're fresher and they have a little bit of a bite. They're not mushy when you bite into them.
They have a little mouthfeel to them.
Yes, exactly. And we've got 2 cups of vegetable stock because we are keeping this vegetarian. So we've got this on medium-high heat right now. If you were doing it at home, you'd give a little more time to process in between. But, you know, we're good here. And so now, since it's on medium-high, before I let it simmer, I'm going to turn it way down. I'm going to turn it down to like medium-low, even low, and put the cover on it. And
look what happened.
Wow.
This is what happens. It's so good. Like bright colors, it's beautiful, and you're good to go. So just dish it up. This is easily heat feeds 4 with leftovers.
And it smells like chili now.
Doesn't it smell like chili?
Yeah, it does.
Like there's no meat. And here's the deal. If you really wanted some meat in here, you know what I love, and I've been eating it all week because I had to test this. I put some smoked sausage in there. It was so good. It was so good. And it really, you know, doesn't really, you know, it adds a little bit of flavor, but it doesn't change the basis of it. It's still...
It gives it a nice flavor profile.
Yeah. Pop a little spoonful.
Just a little spoonful.
Whoop, a dollop of sour cream, or if you were really being healthy, you could use some Greek yogurt. I did that at home. And some green onions.
All right.
There you go.
I'll test drive.
Well, we do need to eat a little heartier this time of year, I think.
It's hearty, but it's still healthy.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you're not going to eat this and feel like, whoa, I need to take a nap. You're going to eat this and you're going to have time to do all those holiday things you want to do. You can go decorate.
I can still eat it and take a nap, though,
right? Those black-eyed peas are
they crunchy or are they too crunchy?
No, they're perfect.
Are they good?
I like that.
They're perfect. And we're going to put this recipe on our website this afternoon for you. Check about 1 o'clock or so this afternoon, and we'll have this for you. You can, too, be eating Shane Rogers' sweet potato chili.
Chili with black-eyed peas.
Chili with black-eyed peas.